first pick in the 2002 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Yao Ming from Shanghai, China, and the Shanghai Sharks.
Yao Ming will turn 22 years old in September, and he has gotten the word that has made his night. He's the number one pick of the draft, 7'5", 296 pounds. You heard Jim Huber talk earlier about his workout program and attempting to get bigger and stronger in preparation for life in the NBA.
Well, I think you have to look at the athleticism and say that it's a major plus when you're dealing with an individual who is 7'5". The fact that he has good hands and he has a good touch, they are on the all positive side. We know that he can block shots because he proved that in the Olympics, especially when he played against the United States Olympic team. So a lot of the questions have been answered, but the big factor will always come down to the strength and can he defend with the quickness that we see in the NBA. That's going to be a major factor. Can he stay out of foul trouble early until he learns the pace of the game?
Let's see what's on the big guy's mind. 7'5", Yao Ming, the number one pick, and Dee Lynam live in Beijing, China with the first interview with the number one pick. Dee?
Ernie will have to get him a slightly larger hat, but he's happy to be wearing the Houston Rockets hat, I can tell you that. Long his rival, I should say, here in China, but now the team he will be playing for. I guess the first question would be, can you fully comprehend for yourself, for Chinese basketball, and for the NBA, what it means to be the NBA's number one overall pick?
那么就是作为这个 NBA 的这个第一选秀的状元秀，那么同时呢，你对这个中国篮球呢也做出了很多的贡献，那么这对你呢意味着什么？
一个新的开始吧，我有一个全新的联赛在我面前要等我，还有怎么说呢？很多的挑战，很多的难题。我想最重要的就是怎么样去从中学习一些东西，然后可以在不久将来可以使我们的国家篮球水平有更大的提高。
So this was a new start in my basketball and life career. So this is a new league in front of me for me to play. So there will be a new challenge for me. I know there will be a lot of difficulty in front of me, but I'm confident I will learn from the NBA and improve myself and improve the Chinese basketball level in the future.
Do you know anything about your future teammates of the Houston Rockets?
你对你未来的这个休斯顿火箭队友了解多少？
那个 Steve Burns 那我肯定是知道的，但是他那句广告语我花了很长时间才听懂，就是 NBA 的广告语。
So one of the players, Steve Francis, that's the person I should know because he has a promotion, a commercial in China, and the word he say that spend a lot of time to learn what he said in that commercial.
Congratulations to you and your family. Congratulations, Ernie.
Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Jay Williams from Duke University.
You see Jay's mom in tears.
Yeah.
And there's a story, too, that when he had almost thought about not going back to school last year, his mom started crying. He said, I can't fight mom's tears. He is out now after his junior year. Jay Williams, what do you think, Quinn?
I think he's going to be terrific. He's as good in screen and roll as any college player that I've seen in a long time. And I think his strength is going to really help him.
The upside is the fact that he shoots so well and that he has NBA range. A big factor for him that is going to have to be corrected will be in the lane, can he make the plays, cut down on the turnovers, and then finish in traffic. But the total package of scoring and the explosiveness is there.
Once again this year, folks, Craig Sager is manning the interview post to have the first discussions with these draftees, and he is with Jay Williams. Craig, I'm going to be stunned under David Stern.
With the third pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Mike Dunleavy from Duke University.
Hey, I got one. First team All-ACC, also on the ACC's five-man all-defensive team. Scored 17 a night. And what an upside on Mike Dunleavy going to the Golden State Warriors.
Well, I think you look at it and you see that Jamison, who plays small forward and scores so many points, wants to move to the power forward position. Well, they have Fortson and Murphy there, you know, so they'll have some very talented people. Now, we realize that the perimeter game is there with Dunleavy. We know that he's an outstanding passer. He reads well in the open floor, and he can make the plays. So the big thing right now will be finishing and then the strength factor in trying to defend the small forwards in the NBA.
What have you seen in his development, Quinn?
You know, when we first started recruiting him, I think he was about 6'4", and he started his freshman year at 6'7", and he's up to 6'9" now. I think he's always figured out how to play at every level with what he has, and while at the same time working on what he needs to do.
Sager is our reporter.
祝贺姚明在2002年
With the fourth pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Drew Gooden from the University of Kansas.
First team All-American, Big 12 Conference Player of the Year, scored about 20 a night, pulled down 11 rebounds, and Quinn, I know you've probably seen enough of this guy.
Too much. He's so fast end to end, and just incredible quickness for his size.
Well, you know what Memphis and Jerry West has just said. You know, we're going to take the best player that we think is in the draft, because you look at Pau Gasol and you look at Shane Battier, you say, where could you find minutes? And they said, you know what? He's going to be good enough. You're going to be able to find minutes for him somewhere, somehow, Sidney Lowe.
He wears number 0 because it's unpredictable, he says. Call him the truth because my game is real. How real is it, Quinn?
It's pretty darn real. I think he's real against us. Terrific, real terrific. And he scored a lot in the paint in college. I think as he really develops his perimeter game, you'll see him excel.
What, is there only one nickname in Kansas? The truth, Paul Pierce and him? You only get one nickname to pass around to everybody? What's going on?
You know, I think Drew Gooden, I had him rated as the third best player in the draft, and that's a great pick by the Grizzlies. I think the thing that's neat about him, he's going to be able to grow. He can play small forward, and as he gets older and gain weight, he can play power forward. And that's just a great pick. Jerry West knows what he's doing.
Let's go over to Craig Sager. What do you say? And hear from Drew Gooden.
Well, your father grew up in the Bay Area. Your mom's from Finland. You played in Kansas. How are you going to fit in Memphis?
It's wild. My mom stays in Arkansas right now, so it's about a 300-mile drive from our house to Memphis, so I get to play again close to her.
Charles called you probably the best athlete or more versatile athlete here in the draft. As a high school player, you played point guard. How did you have to adapt your game?
I wouldn't say point guard. I was a guard, and every year I grew. So every year I grew in position. By the time I was a senior, I played the center position. But I think that helped me in the long run as far as my perimeter skills on the outside.
Well, you're going to a team that likes to play rookies. We saw Pau Gasol and, of course, Shane Battier do well. Have you talked to any of those players?
I haven't met neither one, but I'm looking forward to meeting them, and I'm looking forward to contribute to that group.
Your mom and father are both great athletes. Where'd you get your athletic skill from?
Probably my father.
All right, thank you very much. Good luck. Ernie?
All right, thank you, Craig. Let's check in on the Denver Nuggets situation. They're up, and if you're just joining us, Peter Vesey reported the Nuggets were trying to deal possibly Antonio McDyess and a pick to the Knicks for Mark Jackson, Marcus Camby, and a pick. How's that stand, Todd?
With the 5th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Nicholas Skidishvili from Tbilisi of the Republic of Georgia, who played for Benetton Treviso of the Italian League.
He is 19 years old, a 7-footer. Played for Benetton Treviso in Italy for Mike D'Antoni, former Denver Nuggets coach.
Well, they used him as a substitute. He played about 13, 15 minutes a game. The main thing is he's 7 foot. He can change ends as quick as any guy in the stretch. He has a big upside. He's an excellent shooter facing the basket, but you can see right there, all 4 centers from last year are free agents. The small forward position is open. If they really do trade McDyess, you have Juwan Howard at the power forward. Now, it'll be interesting if this trade comes off, because this young man would have an opportunity. And you know, like Gasol and Battier, the opportunity was there to get quality minutes, and that will quicken your development.
Yeah, you know, the biggest thing that most of the players that come up from overseas have to face.
Don't look at me. NBA Live 2003. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select DeJuan Wagner from the University of Memphis.
Right up the street, across the bridge.
A hero in Camden, New Jersey.
And these buckets, buckets and more buckets and easy buckets. And he probably, and I know Coach Brown has watched and said a lot of this as well, will say a lot of this. He's probably the only guy who, if you give the ball to every time, is going to be able to get a shot. He might not make it, but he's going to be able to get his shot, and a good shot, which is a rare quality to have in a player.
DeJuan Wagner chosen by the Cavs now. Hubie, when you see this pick, and there's been talk of Andre Miller possibly moving on in Cleveland.
Yeah, well, this is a major move by Cleveland. Because you have to say right now, if you keep Andre Miller and Ricky Davis, who's a free agent, that means that other free agents like Landon and Trepagnier will probably go. Now, right here, this young man, Kenny made a great point. The key to excelling in this league when you're a ball handler is, can you create space? This guy can create space, and he's got a body that he can play the 1 or 2 guard position for you, and it's an interesting pick by them. But it now gives them, maneuverability if the franchise is not going to commit to a long-term deal for Andre Miller, and then also Ricky Davis. So it's interesting.
Let's hear from DeJuan Wagner. Here's Craig.
Well, DeJuan, obviously you're a legend in these parts. New Jersey's all-time leading scorer in high school. What are your thoughts about going to Cleveland?
Well, I'll go anywhere. I'm just looking forward to playing. They got a great point guard, Andre Miller. I'm just looking forward to playing with him.
If he stays, he may not. Kenny Smith mentioned that this is one guy that can score anytime he wants. Milt Wagner, his father. You won a championship with the Lakers. What can he do to Cleveland?
Well, I think he could bring a lot of promise to Cleveland. He's used to winning. He brings that winning attitude to Cleveland. I think they're going to be contenders in the future.
He also set the all-time scoring record at Memphis in his freshman year. You're still coaching there. As a coach, what did he mean to the team?
Oh, man, he was big for us. He was our big game player. He came through in the clutch, and it took us to an NIT championship last year, so we're going to miss that.
All right, congratulations.
Thanks.
Ernie?
We've had 6 picks. We have 2 father-son stories with NBA ties, as Milt Wagner's son, DeJuan Wagner, is chosen by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Meantime, we want to check in for the first time tonight with Mike Fratello. He's in Memphis, and the first draft for Jerry West with the Grizzly organization. Mike.
Thank you, Ernie. Jerry, it may be hard to believe for folks, but this is not your first lottery pick in the draft. Can you remember the first time and who you selected?
Yeah, I sure can. We selected Eddie Jones, who turned out to be a terrific player, now playing for Miami, and not only a player that helped us get over get to the point where we weren't a lottery team anymore, but a wonderful player, and we think we've done that again here today.
When you came into Memphis, this franchise looked like that Swiss cheese you guys were eating for lunch today. There were more holes to be filled here. You go with Drew Gooden. Why?
Well, Mike, if you look at him, his all-around game on the inside, he does a lot of things. He scores the ball, he rebounds the ball, he blocks shots. We think he's going to be versatile enough to play two positions, and as you're well aware, when you look at this team, we've got a lot of people up front, but we think it makes us very versatile, and more importantly, gives us an opportunity as we're going toward the future to try to build a team here that's not weak in talent, but has a large talent base. We need to do that. We need to have more talent here.
Well, you were 27th in rebound percentage, 27th in scoring in the league, so you solved some of those problems, but you're also a very poor shooting team. How do you address those issues?
Well, we'd like to think maybe before the night's over we can do something about that. We're confident we can, and we're hopeful we can get a player here that's going to provide some shooting, keep the other teams honest.
Jerry, thank you. Good luck with the next pick, and Ernie, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Czar. Meantime, there's a buzz going through this place because the New York Knicks are on the clock, Charles.
It's a buzz right now. It's going to get very loud here any second now.
Any second. Well, the second has just arrived, Mr. Barkley. The second has arrived.
Charles, do you have any suggestions?
Well, to be honest, they need everything. I cannot wait for them to announce this pick, number one, because I want to see how they're going to react.
You know, I think one of the things, if you look at New York, you would say possibly backcourt help in terms of speed, youth. You would probably say, Coach, if you looked at the Knicks also, you would say they need scoring. DeJuan Wagner was the scorer. And I think the Knicks might have been looking at Wagner saying, hey, here's a guy we could use, and here's the speed in the backcourt.
Now, if there is any truth to the Camby to Denver, you have Kurt Thomas, who's going to be your center. So you might go big here right now. And you're looking for a guy because even with Camby, the Knicks were a very small team last year. So size is going to be a major factor here, I think, in the pick.
Well, it's got to be a big guy, but they have nothing but a bunch of small forwards and
That's
two
right.
guards.
Let's go find out who the Knicks are going to pick if we can hear it.
With the 7th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Nene Hilario from San Carlos, Brazil, who played for Vasco da Gama of the Brazilian League.
And a warm New York welcome to Nene Hilario, 19-year-old from Brazil. Earlier today, he's all pumped up. Brazil is in the World Cup final to face Germany, and he completes his day right here as being selected by the Knicks.
Now, Kenny and I both watched him play last year in the Goodwill Games. He played, lost the championship game to the United States, so he played against O'Neal, he played against Kenyon Martin, he more than held his own. He had the 7-8 points, got 8 rebounds, he had 5 blocked shots. He is a presence, and you have to remember, he's only 19 years of age.
And that's the key, Hugh.
That's right.
19, and he does it. I mean, he's athletic, and it's really sight unseen. You know, a lot of people might question this pick, but it's because they have not seen him. But in terms of if you were looking at a college player coming out, I tried to get him to go to North Carolina. The only Spanish I was saying was Norte Carolina, but he wouldn't go. He would not go.
Probably the same way that Charles tried to get Dirk Nowitzki to go to Auburn. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, thank you, Ernie.
A new Stone Cold groove entitled The Funk Ship.
Well, back in 1975, you know, only the funk is the vibe.
Just like back in the day.
Lord, I like the way y'all play.
Had your funk today.
We're gonna go way up. We're gonna funk everybody. We're gonna go way
Turn me loose on them. You know I got to get turn me loose on them.
You are the future. He is going to go to Denver with Mark Jackson with the 7th pick, and the Knicks will get the 25th pick, and they'll get Antonio McDyess. That's it from here.
Boy, we can't make anybody happy here. Let's go back to the podium. The commissioner's ready.
With the 8th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Chris Wilcox from the University of Maryland.
Kenny, in our pre-draft meeting, I recall jotting down best athlete in the draft, a quote from Kenny Smith.
Without question, I mean, he's a guy, he's a finisher. Anything around the basket, he finishes. If he gets it to the rim, you cannot stop him from finishing. So he can continue to improve, can have the same career as McDyess is starting to have.
You know, he almost shoots down at the basket when he takes his jump up. It's like he's throwing it through.
2002 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Amare Stoudemire from Cypress Creek High School in Orlando, Florida.
What a difference a year makes. Remember the high schoolers that we had early last year, and now the first high schooler goes with the 9th pick, and it's Amare Stoudemire.
We saw him last year at the Nike camp, and he just stood out. He's kind of a man among boys. You've heard him compared a little bit to Ben Wallace. Not only powerful, but unbelievably quick off the floor. Can block shots, and I think can be a terrific rebounder.
Well, you talk about the needs of Phoenix, and you said power. But however, this is a guy that they might have to wait on just a little bit to get an understanding of the physicality and the difference of the playing from high school to the NBA. But like Quinn said, everyone says he is kind of a Ben Wallace clone in terms of rebounding, block shots, enthusiasm, and energy. And that's what Phoenix definitely needs up front.
Well, I think the main thing, it means that the Phoenix Suns are probably going to start rebuilding. I mean, obviously when you draft a high school kid, you expect it to be 2 or 3 years before he can really help your team. So they really over the salary cap. And so this right now, I expect some other trades, maybe Penny Hardaway, maybe Tom Guglielmo. They've got to start rebuilding.
The 19-year-old from Cypress Creek High in Orlando is with Craig Sager.
Well, Mario, they're talking about you being another Ben Wallace. He was the defensive player of the year in the NBA, but you scored 30 points a game this year. Are you happy just playing defense?
Man, defense is a part of my game, you know what I mean? I come out and try to play hard on defense because I think that's how you win championships, you know what I mean? So, but right now I'm working on my perimeter game, so.
Last year, watching a handful of high school players go early, then seeing Kwame Brown struggle for playing time, did that affect your decision?
Not really, because I know the first year is, a learning process for the guys, especially the high schoolers, you know what I mean? Because we're like skipping a level. But, after a year of learning and getting used to the system, everything will work out.
Quinn called you a man among boys in high school. How difficult is the jump to be to the NBA in Phoenix?
If they call me a man among boys in high school, I'm about to play with the man at, you know what I mean? So now I just got to kind of, work on my game a little more to try to elevate my game.
Sounds ready to me. Ernie?
We are through 9 picks here in round 1 of the NBA Draft. Engineering, give us a look at his new uni.
Next. And throughout the draft, you can log on and ask us questions. The first one comes from Matt in Franklin, Indiana. It's addressed to Charles Barkley. How will the language barrier affect Yao Ming's development as an NBA player? Charles, you played for Rudy in Houston. What are your thoughts?
Well, we didn't have a language barrier. Rudy speaks English also.
With the 10th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Miami Heat select Caron Butler from the University of Connecticut.
I spoke with Caron in the Players his area before the draft began tonight. He had one question for him. He said, who's spreading this stuff around about my knees not being? But he was very concerned that there were reports that his knees were not sound. And he really wondered where he might
Well, like,
wind
of
up.
course, any player, because any time that you drop, you're talking about a lot of money guaranteed over a number of years. But this is the perfect place for this young guy to go. This guy's a scoring machine who really is a tough hombre. When you consider the fact that at small forward, Kendall Gill and Jimmy Jackson are both free agents, there is a major opening at that position. You're hoping that Mourning will be healthy along with Grant at the power forward position. This was an excellent choice for Miami.
I know how much Kenny and Charles love Butler, and the thing that I like about him beyond just the offensive package, I think he's tough-minded, and he's a guy that can lead, and those are unusual qualities.
You know, there's only 3 guys in this draft, Jay Williams, Drew Gooden, and Caron Butler, who I said you can start those guys next season and you can feel comfortable with. And that's a great pick. And 3 years from now, people are going to be talking about this kid who slipped to 10 the same way they talk about Paul Pierce, who slipped to 10 also.
Let's go down to Craig Sager.
Well, thank you much. Caron, as a troubled youngster, there were times when you made your mom, Maddie, cry. What was it like for you tonight to get picked and to see her tears of joy?
It was very emotional because she stuck with me for 22 years. So this is a great moment in my basketball career and especially in my life. For my children, my fiance, my grandmother, my whole family.
Maddie, you had to work 2 jobs while you visited him in prison. What did you tell him? How did you turn around his life, and how proud are you of him now?
I'm very proud. Very, very proud of me.
QB Brown said this is the perfect fit for you, the Miami Heat. What are your thoughts?
I think it is also. I went 10 in this draft, and I felt like I was one of the top few players in this draft, so I'm going to make them pay for passing on me.
All right, congratulations. Congratulations to you as well, Maddie. Ernie?
Some draft night emotion and just a touch of determination there in Caron Butler. And now Washington is on the clock, and I guess the question there, you still don't know for sure, I guess, if you're going to have Michael. If that's, he says he wants to honor the second year.
Well, we should ask Charles.
They're tight.
Well, I'm hoping that Steele getting the 17th pick in the draft also with that trade.
With the 11th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Jared Jeffries from the University of Indiana.
Let's go. Well, I just took a random guess on that one. Hey, he's going to be, I wish my man Mike Davis made him look like a great player, so that's why he went this high. I'm just happy for him. He was terrific. Seems like a good kid. And the thing I like about players like him and Drew Gooden and those other guys, see, they're not really skinny, and they can start out playing power forward and gain weight and become power forwards. They can play small forward now, and they can grow into power forwards. You don't want guys who are big already who aren't going to get into bigger or better.
Yeah, I like the fact that, just like Caron Butler, he's going to a team that needs him for that position. And he's going to get instant playing time. And when you're talking 6'11" with the wingspan, you know he can post up because that's how they took Indiana down to the semifinals. But he can handle, he can pass in traffic. He's got a nice game face, and he doesn't have the NBA 3 yet. But, he's a fine young man. You know he's going to work at his game.
When he really can shoot it. I don't know if he has NBA range yet, but I think he'll get it. And he's just got to, he shoots it easy from deep.
He is the number 11 pick by the Wizards, and he's with Craig.
Well, Jared, first of all, we talked about how long you are. Every time we go to a camp, College Media Guide lists a guy at 6'8", and they show up at 6'6". How come you're the only guy that actually grew and got bigger?
I never did really kind of exaggerate my height. I came in about 6'10". I didn't know I was 6'11". I made it out 6'11" with shoes on. Everything's worked out great so far.
2002 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Melvin Ely from Fresno State University.
Back-to-back Player of the Year in the WAC.
We played Fresno when I was at Duke up in Alaska, and Eli played against Elton Brand. and very polished inside player. He's got great post moves. I think at Fresno they've done a great job working with their guys individually over the years. The guys in that program just seem to get better.
Well, I think this definitely seals the deal. The Clippers got something going on. I mean, this guy's another power forward. They got 3 power forwards now, so it's some deals gonna happen. That's an unfortunate part of the business where you get traded the next day. But this kid's going to be a player, but somebody's got to go, and Elton Brand not going anywhere.
Well, if you look at the Clippers, though, you say the only position that they really aren't solid at is the point guard position. They have everything. They have young players, they have athletic players, they have shooters, they have a bench. They just don't have experience. And, so now you add in guys. Anybody you add on that team other than a point guard is going to say, where am I going to play at?
Yeah, I totally agree. And they got to re-sign Olu Akande. That's the big thing they got to do this summer. But they obviously, the only weakness they have is point guard. Everywhere else, they're perfect, especially at the forward spot. Small forward with Miles and Odom. But there's some trading going on in Clipperland.
He's one of the few guys in the room, Melvin Ely, who can talk about what it's like to play against not only Wang Zhizhe, but also
The 13th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Marcus Hayslip from the University of Tennessee.
Round of Rocky Top, if you would, for the Tennessee, you don't know the words, for the Tennessee Volunteer, coming out after his junior year. Number 4 in the SEC in scoring, ranked number 8 in the conference in rebounding, and shot 52%. And can you liken him to Wilcox a little bit?
Well, I would say that, and you look like you said at Milwaukee, what could they actually use? Front court help. You're solid at the 1, 2, and 3 spot. You need someone else to go in there, bang, rebound, be athletic, which he definitely is. And he adds on to a kind of Tim Thomas kind of mentality as well to that lineup.
Pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Indiana Pacers select Fred Jones from the University of Oregon. Fred is not here tonight.
Led the Oregon Ducks to the Elite 8. And is a guy who wants to take the big shot.
Yeah, he hit a big shot against Texas to beat them, to get him to the Elite 8, and a terrific transition player. And I think especially as his guard skills get even better, he can really develop into a solid
pick. With the 15th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Boštjan Nakbar from Dravograd, Slovenia, who played last season for Benetton Treviso in the Italian League.
And there is Boštjan in the second row over there. You saw the family section, and he finds himself very international flavor to this draft by the Houston Rockets, Yao Ming and now Nakbar.
I guess the Rockets surprised taking him, but they didn't even have him sit down here with the other guys.
This guy's an interesting pick because he can score. Lacks range. He's not a high percentage in the European 3, but he's explosive off the dribble. He has great quickness getting to the rim. Mike D'Antonio, who coached in the NBA, is the coach at Benetton. Very high on this guy. Scores big for them in the big games. Can finish with either hand in traffic. He's got an explosive step.
I've heard him compared a little bit to Turkoglu as well from Sacramento in there, compared to another foreign guy. And like Kenny said, I think about Wagner, can get his own shot, capable of getting one off.
Well, the funny thing about most European players, they have this similar styles, just like, I guess, American guys, but they're 6'9", 6'10" guys or more perimeter,
With the 16th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Yuri Welsh from Pardubice of the Czech Republic. He played for Olimpia Ljubljana of the Slovenian League.
immense research necessary for the commissioner tonight with all the international picks. We have 16 picks, nearly a third of the field right now, international players, Ruby.
This guy, 6'6", 6'7", can play two positions, point guard or the two position. Shoots a very high percentage, excellent three-point shooter, and you have to like this. But when you look at Philadelphia, think of the point guards. They have Snow and Claxton. At the two-guard position, you have Iverson, backed up by Aaron McKee. Montego Cummings and also Rondell are free agents. So maybe they're looking for a guy to be a fifth guard here, and in case of injuries like last year, Bell and Cummings got a lot of time. So this is kind of an interesting pick when you think of their small forward position where two guys are free agents. Also, Corey Blount, that power forward, is a free agent.
I love it when we get kind of that grainy surveillance video.
15th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Juan Dixon from the University of Maryland.
For a kid from Baltimore, what better news could there possibly be?
He's my guy, Ernie, man. I watched him play a lot in Maryland. I think what I said earlier, he has the killer instinct. And down the stretch, when Maryland needed a basket or Maryland needed to make a good play, the ball was always in his hand. And I think that's a great attribute on a great team that he was the best player.
You know, when he was a freshman backing up Steve Francis at Maryland, he told his aunt that he needed braces. I plan on doing well here. I'm going to need a nice smile for pictures and interviews. Here's a picture for you. And certainly a reason to smile for Juan Dixon.
I'm like Kenny. I like this guy because in every big game, he played big. He can score. And he's not just a guy who has to have a ton of shots. He shoots a very high percentage. He's got three-point range. He's got the mid-range game. He can get to his spot. I don't want to hear about how thin he is, how small he is, because shooting makes up for a multitude of sins, and this guy does.
New NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Curtis Borchert from Stanford University.
You know, Ernie, one of my good buddies back in Seattle coached Curtis at his 8th grade AAU team. And what he remembers most about Curtis, he wasn't quite that big then, was how competitive he was. And you talk a lot about his shot blocking ability. I think his body's going to get better. And he can really shoot the ball, and he can shoot it with some range.
3 blocks a game he averaged. Number 3 in the nation in rebounds, led the conference in offensive and defensive boards.
Well, the only negative is the stress fractures that he has on the right foot. But
Into NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Ryan Humphrey from Notre Dame. Ryan is not here.
See, it's a good thing you didn't go bold because you were going to say Dan Dickau.
No, you don't know what I was going to say. You can read my mind now? You're a mind reader too?
Ernie, this kid right here.
With the 20th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Kareem Rush from the University of Missouri.
Hey, I know who he played for.
I was getting a little nervous for him there.
Now, what does this feel like now, Quinn, to see one of your players picked?
It's unbelievable. I've been looking over there every 30 seconds or so, just checking on him.
Is this your first guy?
Second guy.
Second guy.
Keon Doolin.
Keon Doolin, that's right.
That one happened fast.
Right.
And a little bit unexpected, but Kareem's got the whole offensive package. He could be a great scorer. I think the new rules really help him. As the floor opens up a little bit, makes him even more effective. He's been on for a few years about being more physical.
Quinn, do you look at him as a 2 or a 3?
I think eventually, I think he's a 2, Charles. I think he's got guard skills. He played the 3 for us, but I think he needs to learn to defend that position better. But I think he's a guard.
So you're saying you're not teaching your players defense?
No, we're taking after you, Charles.
Maybe Quinn.
Hey, way to fit right in. Way to fit right in. But you know what? I think that, you know, one of the things that he has the ability is getting his shot. You know, you average 19 points a game in college basketball. You know how to get that.
The Portland Trailblazers select Quintel Woods from Northeast Mississippi Community College.
However, he is probably the only guy to be happy because I got my little two-way up here, and everyone's hitting me. What's up with Quintel Woods? He's the next Tracy McGrady, and he's got time to sit there and relax, figure out what's going on. Coming from junior college is a big jump as well. It's almost like jumping from high school to the pros.
And Quinn has seen a lot of it.
I saw him up at Mobley Junior College, and unbelievable medium range game. He can really put the ball in the hole between 10, 18 feet, and has a nice feel for the game on the offensive end. It looks like he'll have an opportunity, being a junior college kid like a high school kid, to get a little time to adjust.
Learn from Scottie Pippen,
right.
Small forward, then top 50 player, sit there, kind of learn some things, and possibly get some minutes if he works hard.
I've got to see the Portland Trailblazers making some trades, though. I think this kid's a good pick, but they got a lot of dead weight on their team. Guys who people think can play, who can't play, who just take up salary cap space, and they've got to get rid of some of that dead wood before they can get better.
See, this young guy has a total game. He's a great passer. He can rebound. He can finish in traffic. He's got the perimeter J, like Quinn said, and Quinn has seen him more than any of us. But this guy is blessed with a ton of talent. Now it's going to come down to coachability, how hard he's going to work at his game, because the talent level is definitely there.
He is standing by with Craig Sager. Segs?
Well, in 26 years, we've had 34 junior college players go for an early entry into the NBA. The only one that's been a major impact player is Sean Kemp, now your teammate. What makes you think you're ready and you can make the move?
Well, I think I can play a lot of different positions, and I can bring that to the table. I'm going to play hard as I can.
Not only junior college, you played high school in Memphis. The last time I interviewed a Memphis high school player was at the NBA All-Star Game. Do you remember that basketball player turned actor, Justin Timberlake, that crossed over Kenny Smith and just abused him?
Yeah, I saw him drop a couple of shots on him, but...
Hey, man, don't believe that. That's video. That's video. It's a movie.
All right, good luck. Make the mess of the move. We'll see you in Portland.
All right, thank you. Wants to be known, Segs, as the main attraction, and also...
I like that.
Tough kid,
I
though.
might use that if he does his job. I'm going to call him that.
Senior in high school,
Main
get this.
attraction.
He blows out his knee playing football, doesn't have surgery. He postpones that so that he can play basketball, wears a brace, leads him to the state title, then has surgery. That's Quintel Woods, and that is the main attraction. Much more still to come.
Not yet. He's got to earn that. You got to earn a nickname in my league. Got to earn it first. But I'll call him that, though.
2002 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Casey Jacobson from Stanford University.
I will say right now, and you won't be able to see it until he gets on stage, he has the shoes of the night to go with this outfit. You'll see what I mean when he gets up there. This guy has been driven to excel in basketball.
Great footwork in those shoes. I went out to see him when he was in high school and drove up to his high school gymnasium. And it was kind of one of those Saturday afternoon pickup games. And he put a hurting on everybody. He wanted to win every game. Incredibly competitive.
I didn't know Craig Sager had a brother. Craig Sager got a brother.
But this one can play.
Yeah, this guy can shoot.
Because if he was in Craig's family, he would not be able to play. So we know that he's just...
Oh, no, that's just with the Grizzlies headquarters. Mike?
Ernie, good talking to you. You know, there are some picks that have taken place here that are really surprises. First of all, if you're the Los Angeles Clippers and you have Elton Brand, why do you take Wilcox and Eli unless something's up? And then taking two power forwards, is one of them staying alongside Elton Brand, or is there a mistake that took place there by picking both of those guys? In Washington, you have Rip Hamilton, so why are you taking Juan Dixon unless you feel that Dixon can play the point, which everybody says he's not a point guard? Hayslip and Freddie Jones going 13 and 14, a total surprise going that high, so it let other players drop down. From 10 on, it seems like teams have drafted based on need rather than necessarily taking the best athlete that's there at that particular time. Does Utah know that Stockton's coming back because they go for Humphrey rather than taking a point guard to replace him?
You wouldn't believe, Mike, how quiet things got in here. When the Czar spoke, everybody here was like, wow, what's he got to say?
Well, that's home. That's Jersey, New York for me. You understand that? That's the Czar's territory.
I do entirely. Let's go back to the commission.
With the 23rd pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Tayshaun Prince from the University of Kentucky. Tayshaun is not here.
Is that his baby picture or that's his college picture? But I mean,
With the 24th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the New Jersey Nets select Nenad Kristic from Belgrade, Yugoslavia, who played last season for Partizan Belgrade in the Yugoslavian League.
So 1/4.
Nenad is not here. Frank Williams from the University of Illinois. Frank is not here.
Now keep in mind now with the trade, the Denver-New York trade, this is the number 25 pick, which is to be sent to the New York Knicks, Frank Williams.
There's another guy like Gooden that I've seen too much of. He beat us this year and he just took the game over late in the second half. I think variety of skills, can shoot it with range, really can pass the ball, penetrates by changing speeds and changing direction. That's just not blowing by you, and penetrates to pull up. He likes to pull up in the lane.
and with Mark Jackson leaving, obviously there's minutes for him, and possibly even starting, because Charlie Ward he has started before, but he's been asked to come off the bench. So there's an opportunity for him.
Well, you know, I'm firmly against all these high school.
What can I say?
Hey, the commissioner was up watching the World Cup this morning.
You know, when Kenny and Charles first came into the league, they didn't speak English either. With the 26th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select John Salmons from the University of Miami. Philadelphia 76ers have traded the draft rights to Yuri Welsh at number 16 to the Golden State Warriors for a future first-round draft pick and a future first or second-round draft pick. Okay. Well then, with the 27th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Chris Jeffries from Fresno State University.
Don't even start, Kenny.
No, I had a little help. You know,
with the 28th pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Dan Dickau from Gonzaga University. That
played his college ball at Illinois, chosen by the Memphis Grizzlies. Quinn?
You know, he's a real efficient player offensively, makes his foul shots, likes to play in the post, and I think a big body, too, that doesn't mind contact.
Yeah, that's how he played in Chicago. Good hands, shot a real solid percentage at the foul line area. He's big, he's bulky. It'll be interesting to see how he holds his ground, because he doesn't have a lot of hop. But the other part of it is he's a tough kid.
Let's get more on this as we check in with the Czar, Mike Fratello, in Memphis. He's got Sidney Lowe with him, guys.
Thanks, Ernie. Well, Sid, going into the draft, one of your areas of concern were rebounding the basketball. You were a small basketball team. 6'10", Gooden taken first, and now Archibald 6'11". You seem to be adding the size and perhaps rebounding that you needed.
Well, that's certainly an area we felt we needed some help in, and Archibald's going to give us that defensive presence down here. He'll bang the big guys down there, and that's something that we needed.
When you look over on the other side of the floor, the only guy there basically is Shane Battier. Who's going to move over? Where do you get the help at? Not only the small forward position, but the shooting guard spot where Michael Dickerson hopefully returns this year.
Well, you know, we feel that Gooden possibly could move over some and play that 3 spot for us, but, you know, as Jerry said before, too, he's always looking to get some things done, and maybe we'll get some help somewhere else.
Thanks, Sid. Good luck. Back to you, Ernie.
All right, thank you, Mike. Been a busy night for the Denver Nuggets. They're up again.
With the 33rd pick in the 2002 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Vincent Yarbrough from the University of Tennessee.
Second volunteer taken on the night.
He's what I call a Monday, Wednesday, Friday guy. If you watch him on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you take him in the lottery. You see him on Tuesday, Thursday, you might say, this guy, I don't know if he's that good. And that's what's happened why he goes to the second round, because he has so much talent, so much athleticism, and so much skill, but it's only on 2 or 3 games a week.
High school player of the year coming out of high school.
They playing 7 games a week in the SEC now?
Oh, you get the point.